Okay, saying okay. Hello, student. My name is William. Okay. Today, I go read I did Psalm chapter 78 because I deleted it by accident. Okay. Mischief Aspa, give your O my people to thy to my law, incline thy ears towards thy mouth. Okay. I open my mouth in the parable. I will utter dark sayings of old, which we have heard and known our fathers have told us. I will not hide from their children, showing to the generation to come and praises of the Lord of this strength and this wonderful works that he hath done. He has served as a testimony in Jacob, appointed a law in Israel, and he commanded our fathers, and they should make them known to their children. And that generation that come, and I know them, and even the children that should be born, and that shall arise and declare them to their children. The nine that set their hope on God and forget the works of God, but keep his commandments. And that might not be his fathers and stubborn and rebellious generation, a generation that said not their heart all right, whose spirit was not steadfast with God. The children of Ephraim, being armed and carrying bows, turned back in the day of battle. And kept not the covenant of God, and refused to walk in his law. And forgot his works and his wonders, and he had shewed them. Marvelous things that he did cite in their fathers in the land Egypt, and he filled its zone, and he divided the sea and caused them to pass through the heap mighty the waters and stand in his heap. And in the daytime he has led them with a cloud and night with light of fire, and he had cleaved the rocks in wilderness and gave them the drink as out of the great depths. He brought the stream out of the rock, caused waters to run down like rivers. And that stand yet more against approaching the Most High in the wilderness. And they tempted God in thy heart against beat of their lust. Yet they spake against God. They said, can God furnish a table in the wilderness? Behold, he smote the rock, and the waters gushed out, a streams overflowed, and he gave the bread also to provide flesh for his people. Therefore the Lord heard this, and he was wroth, and so the fire is kindled against Jacob in anger. So it came up against Israel, because I believed not in God, but trusted not in his salvation. That has commanded the clouds from above, and opened the doors of heaven. That rained down manna upon them to eat, and he had given them of the corn of heaven. And men did eat angels' food, and he sent them the meat of the full. And he caused the east of the heaven to have his power. He brought him this, and he brought in south wind. Okay, in the south wind. He rained flesh upon them as dust, and he had feathered fowls like the sand of the sea. He had let it fall in the midst of their camp, round about their habitations. So they did eat, and they are well filled, and he gave them their own desire. Okay, and they were not estranged from their lust, but while their meat was yet in their mouths. The wrath of God came upon them, and that slew the fattest of them, that smote down the chaste men of Israel. For that they sinned, still and believers in not of his wilderness works. Therefore, his days he consumed in vanity, and their years in trouble. Okay, he had slew them, and he had sought them, and he returned, and inquired early after God. And they remembered that God was their rock, and the high God their Redeemer. Nevertheless, they did flatter him with their mouth, and they lied him unto their tongues. For their heart was not right with them, neither were they steadfast in his covenant. But he, being full in his compassion, gave their iniquity and destroyed them not. Yea, many a time turned his anger away, and did not stir up all his wrath. For he remembered that they were but flesh, a wind that passeth away, and cometh not again. Okay, have aught they provoke him in the wilderness, and grieve in the desert. Yeah, they turned back and tempted God, and then did the Holy One of Israel. And he remembered not his hand, nor the day of he delivered them from the enemy. How they have wrought his signs of Egypt, and his waters in the field of Zon. He that turned his rivers into blood of their floods, that they could not drink. He had set divers, and sent a sort of flies among them, which devoured them, and frogs, which destroyed them, and gave their increase unto the caterpillar, and their labor unto the locust. He destroyed their vines with hail, and their sycamore trees with frost. And he gave up their cattle also to the hail, and their flocks to hot thunderbolts. And that cast upon the fierceness of his anger, wrath and indignation and trouble, and sending evil angels among them. He midway his anger, spared not his soul from death, and he gave life unto pestilence. He smote the firstborn in Egypt, and to the chief of their strength, and in the tabernacles of Ham. They made his own people to go forth like sheep, and guided them in the wilderness like a flock, and led them on safely. So they feared not, but the sea overwhelmed their enemies. He had brought them to the border of the succory. Succory. Even to this mountain, which is the right hand had purchased. He did cast out heathen also before them. He did divide them inheritance by line, and he made a tribe of Israel to dwell in their tents. Yet they tended to provoke Most High God, and kept not his testimonies, but turned back and dwelt unfaithfully. Like their fathers, they turned aside like a deceitful bow, for they provoked them to anger with their high places, and moved them to the jealousy of their graven images. when God heard this, he wrote, okay, he was wroth and really abhorred Israel. But he forsook the tabernacle of Shiloh and the tent which he placed among men, and delivered his strength unto captivity, the glory unto the enemy's hand. And he gave his people over also to the sword, and he had wroth with his inheritance. He had consumed their young men, and their maidens were not given to marriage. The priests fell by the sword, and the widows made no limitation. The Lord had waketh as one of the sleep, and like a mighty man that shouteth, my reason of wine. And had smote his enemies at the hinder parts, but he put them to perpetual reproach. Moreover, he refused the tabernacle of Joseph, and he chose not to tribe of Ephraim, but chose the tribe of Judah, but Mount Zion, which he loved, and he built a sanctuary like high places, like the earth. He changed the Sabbath forever. And he chose David like his servant, and took him from the sheepfolds, from falling of the eels great width. He brought him to be Jacob his people, Israel his inheritance. So he fed according to the integrity of his heart, and guided him by the skillfulness of his hands. Okay, it's ending of Psalm chapter 78. Next we read Psalm chapter 79. Okay. You're gonna go right now. Thank you for watching this video. Bye.